Yep. You do that.
Anyway, idea. I don't know. You could try it and see if the camera saw that differently or gave you a more sense of control or that it's always going to work. I think that was sometimes like I was moving it and sometimes it would draw the thing and sometimes not. I guess.
That's also the FOV.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all hardware things. It's all hardware.
Yeah, but help the hardware by making there be something more for it to notice. That's all. You can start with like these squares of cardboard. That's all.
So you already put on the headset. This one you don't have to if you don't want to. It's just been a prototype with our Go to Different World feature. It's really just walking through a portal and you'll see the environment change around you. Okay, so let's building the world a little bit. Do some scanning first.
Oh yeah, I definitely noticed. You should fix it all around.
This feels less long when you're actually walking around with the headset.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah, than just
we can put on just put on a headset.
yeah.
So it's but the main branch doesn't have mic.
Okay, let's replace it. Let's see if it. Okay, so
I can change video as
so like there's an example of a portal, and it's very easy. You can just kind of like walk up to it or just kind of touch it.
Yeah.
Still working through that.
How does it decide where to put it?
Well, you see those little pink blocks? So
Yeah.
it's supposed to determine. It picks random surfaces to use. That surfaces just an area that's like just flat all along. So that allows us to know where to spawn stuff. Like
Right,
that's where you see
because
them.
ideally that means it's a floor, and so it knows to put it somewhere where you can actually access it.
Yeah. And right now we're also choosing what height it has to be as well too. I think this one's height still needs to be lower because
Yeah.
keep on spawning it up higher than it should.
probably not today.
But if you actually were to like to walk through it a little bit,
Well, basically what before the place.
you would walk through it and the whole environment. Oh,
But it just.
oh snap! I with the shader. It looks very different. Okay.
Everyone is holding up.
Or maybe I just put the wrong materials in. I was just testing this. Yeah, you see all the blocks are different though. They shouldn't look like this exactly. I need to check the
They should
material.
look different, but not quite like that.
Yeah. But is it a simple thing just like that? You change the material, the world looks different.
Right. Okay.
Wow.
It's
This
flash shaded, huh?
no, look at this. It looks all like one thing. Wow. Yeah. But like,
What did you feel about the height issue though? Like initially you felt like you were really high, but did you feel comfortable at some point?
No.
No?
Because like the whole notion is that it's somehow mimicking the real world, and I guess I felt like I was floating in air and didn't have ground beneath my feet, and that was a bit disorienting. And it may just be like how you have the camera placed or something that makes it feel like the ground in the world is just way below the.
It's actually the FOV. The field of
Oh,
view,
the field of view,
the field of view is a problem because the screen is not wide enough to actually do the human field of view.
Right.
So you only can be
So
constrained into
right.
that.
So you kind of have to like knowing that it's not going to be exactly replicating human physiology. Like, how do you make it at least feel right? You know.
Yeah. Right.
Or you make it so that thematically people expect to be hanging in midair because they're, an angel or I don't know, whatever. So you either conform the expectation or you conform the view.
Thematically do a lot of things. Like initially, with like all the hand, we're trying to detect hands and stuff. So currently, like having the pet in the world actually like like makes people like not think of wanting to use their hand.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it just makes people
Exactly,
want to
exactly.
try and get
It's
the
like a little bit
comfort.
of like, oh, don't think about that. Look over here at this cute animal, huh? You know,
Yeah,
like
exactly,
totally. Why
exactly.
not?
Yeah, like we have,
I actually believe this works.
yeah, they actually think that
Okay.
this works, but it doesn't. It's
Uh-huh.
just
Well,
like
and also putting
behavioral.
the wand or whatever you want to call it, you know, makes it like now you're holding onto something. You can't gesture with your hand. You've got something in your hand. And I guess the other fact is that you have to hold the thing. But that isn't ideal. It's just, you know, at least for now it helps.
Yep, yep, yep. To improve the hardware.
So what are your plans for the next steps? Yeah.
Well, yeah, so for halves it's basically sort of the same prototype that you saw. We're just gonna like clean it up a little more, give it some nice texture and things, and sort of like combine the portal idea. So probably like lead this pet onto a portal or something, and then it gets transported to a new world, and you do sort of do the same thing. And the thing we were thinking about is sort of like getting the animal home in some sense. So it starts off in some weird world, and you keep going through these worlds and finally get it home.
And like building stuff for it to jump onto.
Yeah,
and you need
yeah.
to train people in the fact that the animal can.
Right. Jump on things.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Currently, I only saw it falling when the ground dropped out.
Yeah,
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know. I mean, some way of putting that into the game, I guess. Yeah. So I guess like for halves, our idea is to get all of this working and get someone to play it.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll learn a lot from that. Like, focus really hard on getting something more playable. You maybe end up changing it after. It's not, set in stone, but you have something that people can really get their hands on, but I don't mean it literally. Is that your concept for how on the wall I'm looking at the
Oh yeah, a bunch of things. Want to explain that?
Probably. Yeah, we fixed it together.
The first one is actually something like this. We want to generate
I guess I know why.
so you just explore one and then we try to have you interact with virtual objects. And another two are like this one is we have the person with tango sitting in a chair and somebody just wheel you around.
Yeah.
And you will feel much safer there because some naive guests they don't really believe this system. They don't.
They're afraid to walk because they don't want to fall and.
Yeah.
Right.
So the problem navigation is all taken care of.
Right.
Yeah, and we kind.
It's like a theme park ride almost.
Yeah. And so the interaction is we just keep it. We're struggling with the interaction design, so we just keep it simple, like stick it in opposite way. So the gameplay is just sit still. No matter what you see, you just don't move your head too frequently. And so we themed it as a horror game. And the third one is it's a laser game. You avoid lasers, so that needs you to pre-scan the room. And we pre-scan it, we generate the laser, and then you just kind of avoid it. But since people can't see their body,
Yeah.
it's a little bit tricky.
That's true. That would depend a lot on that.
So then, we choose to go with this one, but try to combine the good features from these two prototypes. And then we figured out that we can somehow detect the hand because at that time the moving objects people they will create mountains there, but they won't disappear. So it's really confusing for people. But then few weeks Cage solved that problem, and now we can remove all of them. So now we were thinking how about use your hand to create something and to interact with, because in this prototype we don't have AI for the animals, so people really want to kick them or just grab them.
Because they're just kind of standing there.
Yeah. So we try to like, so this is the, we try to like have the trigger in front, just on top of the animal. So you build, you put your hands there and build a block and trigger this thing, and the animal just be killed. But for players, it's still not intuitive enough. Why I built those terrain and it killed the animal.
Yeah.
But the instant feedback is really good. Like they know, they can see the feedback, but it's just a little bit confusing.
Right.
So then I think we just, it's hard to change the look of the cubes. We can't replace it with other models or make it invisible, cover it with some particles to pretend to be some magic casting stuff. But so we just go with it. So I think maybe we just the easiest way for players to understand is that is something like terrain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can just create. So I'm thinking like platform game.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you create a terrain and you will jump to some floating island and to get something. And also you can do some holes in some virtual object, and you fit in the hole and you trigger some puzzles. So somehow we can combine it. So for now, I'm thinking a platform game will encourage people to explore the world, and you can use very simple interaction to solve some puzzles, to have more clue to help you to explore the world. So,
I like these concept drawings. They're very clear in what you're trying to accomplish, and you know, you integrated the virtual with the player and gave this good sense of what it would be like. 'Cause it's always hard when you're like showing anything that has a goggle-based experience to like what is the player doing and seeing, and I think these are nice illustrations of the ideas.
yeah, I think now the challenge is how to make it more fun, like
Yeah.
gamify it.
Yeah. That is one challenge, but I think you have a lot of technical
Yeah,
challenges.
just
So, like,
based on the technical
because you're not going to
constraints.
make it technically perfect. So how do you
Yes.
take like what does work well in the technical side of things, improve on it as much as you can, but then not try to push the gameplay beyond the limitations of the hardware, right?
Yeah.
It's like where you're trying to like, well, we want the gameplay to go here, but the hardware is going here, and we have to like kind of
Yeah.
get closer and closer and closer and closer, focus on what it can do.
Absolutely.
Because for the technical part, like we have experimented a lot of fun stuff to do, but it's still tricky for the naive guests.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have a mandate to reach naive guests with your end
Yeah,
result?
I think
Really? I mean,
Not-
it's not
not
part of
really,
our problem statement, but that's certainly something
yeah,
that we're trying to
yeah.
do.
Hopefully we can do that, but like if we really can't do that, then you know.
I think
Yeah, maybe think about whether you need to be truly targeting the naive, because I mean this is already a
Yes.
system that is not going to be used by a ton of naive guests, you know, naive users. It's like early adopters that want
Yeah,
the hottest
exactly.
new thing and are willing to maybe accept a little bit of hump in their learning because they're going to be, oh yeah, it's like that and that. I like the Oculus I played and blah blah blah. But then,
Yep.
you know, maybe, yeah, I don't know how that would affect what you're doing, but maybe
Yeah.
don't worry too much about naive users, unless it's a mandate that's coming from Google, or then yes, of course,
no,
worry about it. But if it was like a self-imposed thing, maybe like double check with your client that maybe.
Oh,
it
no,
could-
actually
We don't have a client. Well, our client is Carl and Tom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Google doesn't believe we can do that. So.
Okay.
We need to
All
show
right.
them what
Well,
we're
then,
doing. So they
you know.
when they-
Yeah.
Well, so initially we were thinking about like having this as an exhibit, right, where we have like things in the world that we already know are placed in certain places, and we were thinking about like just having like having full control of the environment that it's going to be used in. But then we sort of dropped that because we wanted it to be a little more open and anyone to be able to download it and use it. So
I can see the upside of the other thing though, because you're already in a territory that's like really unknown. Like if you're dealing with this, in fact, that's kind of a good idea. Like you may want to revisit that, because if you could have some known factors, like, and it's not even like the kind of, if you have like a lot of office space around here that you could set up as your like miniature experience, you know, and that way you don't even have to render it into the system. It's just more like it's always fixed, and it doesn't have a lot of these random things that cause confusion. It's very like clear. You still get that in fact, you know, people will walk in and they'll realize that it's a safe environment. They're not going to stumble over things, but there's a physical world that, like, if they're looking in the game and they walk up and they hit the wall, they'll like, it's there. And so there is something, it's still adding something to have this virtual environment overlaid on the physical world. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm turning my every room into a imaginary thing. It's just more like, wow, I'm in this virtual world, but I actually get tangible feedback, and then just make that matter, you know, somehow. Anyway, probably putting out a totally tangential suggestion there, but it's a thought.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this system, like, the more you play it, the more you get used to it. So like initially, a lot of people weren't able to like actually like walk around, and then like slowly, like some of the playtesters, they like started walking.
They became more confident.
Yeah, they became more confident, and then like people like me, in fact, whoever, we trust the system completely, so we can like walk upstairs, walk downstairs, and walk here, walk there.
Yeah, it is. It's like a trust issue.
That was also like the problem during development, because for example with the hand thing, when we were using it, we knew exactly what works, you know, and it felt like, okay, that works. But when you give it to naive guys, they're like, what? There's my hand.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we always encounter with the naive guys problem where they are not too sure whether this is like a thing or not.
Actually, the concept of naive is a little bit, it's still a tricky concept, because naive means you never use Tango, or you never played VR, or
right.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe
a random guess, basically.
Yeah, well, maybe just think more about what your target player is, and they may not be 100% naive. Maybe they, you know, played with an Oculus before, or you know, something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
And try to
definitely we've seen Oculus users like Tucker and
I think most of these EA guys.
Most of the EA guys, they all use Oculus before.
I mean,
they're way
by
more
definition,
confident.
you hardly have anybody
Quite a few
truly
haven't
naive.
done VR too. Yeah, I wouldn't say quite a few of them haven't done VR stuff before
Right.
too. Like they've
I think
heard of it.
Nick is
they've heard of it.
Yeah, Nick is
it,
there, but like quite a few of them have not used VR.
So like
Right.
a lot of things like the different FOV and the different like height and the different like depth, that kind of thing. Like all these, like Oculus also kind of has a little bit of it.
Yes.
So they are actually familiar with it a little bit, but like.
Well, if they've developed for it, for sure.
Yeah.
Like if they just played it.
Yeah.
Just a lot of things to get, like new things to get used to in this. So the more they've already seen before, the easier it is for us.
So better they are doing it.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
And I think I also tried it with my roommates. They're actually 100% naive guests that never played VR before, but they're like really just like feel comfortable, and even with this prototype, they just walk upstairs and downstairs. That I can't do it, but they can do it. So.
Wow, I never thought about that. How does it look on stairs? Does it actually look like, you know, blocks around the stair?
Yeah, it does.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's the thing is, it depends on the step size. Like if it's a 1.5 of a block, then some of them will appear like 2 and some of them are 1.
Yeah. Interesting. Actually, that's a very, okay, this is also what I would recommend. I don't know, like, how much variance you can put in there and with it to safely have it render the world, but stair height is like a, you know, nationally mandated thing. Like, to be a legal stair height, it has to be between this and this, And that might be something to kind of match to. It's like that's like the height you're looking for to create a new part of the world, and that way you really would get very safe in a way, like stairs in your virtual world too that match the real thing if it's accurate enough to that.
Okay.
So think about that, because that helps. That helps the reality of the world sort of match the reality in the game. And I think also that's something that we don't think about much, like the legal stair height, but that our bodies kind of, it's like muscle memory, you know? Like if you when you go somewhere and it's like a really old, like ancient coliseum, and like the stairs are all like, or they're like super big, and you're like, oh, it's like awkward, you know?
Yeah.
So anything where it's just like feels natural to the way we're used to moving, you'll find it feeds into the good feeling about how the game is too.
Yeah, that's fair. Right now the boxes are sort of optimized for just performance, like
Yeah.
how small can you make it while still keeping the frame rate up.
Right.
So that's the other problem.
I figured it was something like that, you know, if you
Yeah.
make they're bigger than a stair, so if you make them smaller, then you have to render more of them, and etc. I know. But just saying, I'm here to give you my advice, and there it is. Yeah.
So I've like a list of optimization I still haven't done yet actually. So probably
Okay,
do all
let's
those
see.
stuff. So probably
Okay.
get the frame rate up.
Thanks for the
Yeah.
demo.
Thanks for the
feedback.
suggestions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some great ideas.
Mhm.
Cool. Thank you
Thank you.
so much.